Hey, I'm gonna keep that in.
That's the intro. Hey
Yeah, that's an intro.
everybody. It's you girl here again with you boy talking about relationships. And this is now Martha Stewart. Stewart?
What? Alright, that's the title of this video.
Martha Stewart, yeah. My relationship with Martha Stewart.
All right, so let's get into this. I'm glad to be laughing about it now because it really was had a lot of emotional baggage at the time for me. So our story starts off. Um, let's say it was at work, and Martha was our boss, and I that's why I'm gonna use a fake name, of course, because protecting identity. And of course, anyways, so Martha was our boss. She was our manager at this weekend job, and Dominic and I worked at this place with her. We were like, we were like under her, right? And
Physically?
no, no, I wished.
Oh my gosh.
Under her, around her, everywhere, you know. But anyways, so Martha was just a funny, nice, happy-go-lucky person on the surface. Um, so Martha would offer to take me and Dominic out for lunch sometimes, right? Because like she knew we didn't have a car, and we just took the bus to work. And so, she would drive us, and we'd go off work, and then we started hanging out outside of work too with Martha. It was usually me and Dominic, and eventually it just became her and Dominic. Um, the only times we would hang out eventually was when she was it was during the work time, like for lunch or something.
Hmm.
And I figure out she's doing that so it looks like she's just going out with friends, but really she's using it as cover to spend more time with Dominic. And I pieced that up later on, like way later on after the fact. I gave up the ghost on Martha Stewart. Um, so when we would hang out outside of work, we would usually like play basketball, or she would sing like songs that she wrote, and she would also like just bring us food, or we would like bring her food. Usually me. Dominic would never bring her food. Um, and of course I bought food to her at work or whenever, because I liked her. I had a crush on her, and the only reason I had a crush on her was because spending so much time with her, I felt like we had something, right? But of course we didn't. And I noticed at work that anytime she had a chance, she would always hang out with Dominic around his section of the store. And I noticed that. I mean, like, it was kind of weird that every time she had a chance, she would hang out with Dominic. And there's other employees too. And at least two other employees, there was like eight of us, eight like employees, and she was the manager. So there was nine of us total. And out of the two of my fellow employees noticed this too, that she would hang out with Dominic a lot, and we all thought it was suspicious. And I actually brought it up to them. Um, I'm gonna think of a name for one employee. Alicia is one employee. I'm gonna say. I said, "Have you ever noticed that Martha and Dominic always hang out a lot? Like way, me and when we noticed about Martha that she would always hang out with Dominic, and that sometimes when we were playing basketball, I noticed that she would bite Dominic.
What?
Yeah, like when she went in to block the ball and stuff, when she was playing defense, that she would like bite him,
This is a
and she would never do that to me. It was
this,
kind of weird, right?
this is a 34-year-old woman.
Yes,
Why
and she was fit.
why is she hanging out with teenagers? I don't understand.
I don't know. I guess she had nothing better to
How old
do.
were your coworkers?
Elisa, for example, was like in her 40s, and she had like two kids. Um, the other employee I didn't mention was what can I call her? Felicia. Felicia was our age. She was like uh at the time she had to be like 19. I didn't really get to know her that much, but we kind of bonded over spying on Martha and Dominic. Um, but yeah, and some of the other employees were like in their 20s to 30s range, and it was really just Felicia, me, and Dominic that were the youngings in there.
So did she hang out with the others or it was just y'all?
The thing is, she was friendly, so she'd go around and say hi to everyone, but she would hang out with Dominic like way longer than anyone else. Like, say, she'd go and have like a 3 minute to 5 minute conversation with one of the employees, and then with Dominic, she'll have like a 20 to 30 minute conversation with him. And, yeah, and they would kind of, I don't know, it would slow down the
Think
work.
about it though, if the roles were reversed and it was some 30-year-old man trying to talk to his employee who's 18.
19-year-old,
Yeah.
yeah, 18-year-old, yeah. Um, And Dominic didn't realize this until I pointed it out after we left that place. And um what's it called? One time we were working and Dominic and her went off to go grab something. I have no idea what. But the one she left in charge, the person she left in charge, they were taking so long that the guy that they left in charge, that Martha left in charge, complained saying like, "Oh, what the heck is she like? What the hell is she doing? Why is she taking so long?" And I have no idea what Martha and him went to go
You never
do.
asked him?
No. Uh, Anyways, and there was another time with Dominic went to a conference and Martha
Oh,
offered to drive over there. It was like in Houston. At the time I was living in Austin,
so that's like a
and
2-hour drive.
yeah, and she drove him all the way to Houston and even picked him up.
What is
I
this?
mean, yeah, I don't know, my dude. Um, There's all kinds of wrong. And it was in like a conference for work. It was like a thing that my friend's a part of. He's part of this organization, and I don't want to say what it is because it'll give him out
Right,
for
right, right.
something that he's a part of. But it's a national organization that's a good one. I'll just tell you that.
So, so
Um,
like she wasn't even involved at all, and yet she still drove him.
yeah, she drove him. I guess they must have talked about it because they had so much time talking. And the day I realized that she was infatuated with him was one time we were playing basketball
And
again.
she bit him.
um no, they stopped and they laid down because Martha said she was tired and Dominic I guess was just like whatever, he's take a rest. And so I was just dribbling the ball, walking around, making shots here and there. And I look over and Martha and him are watching a video on Dominic's phone. And Martha was like leaning in onto him, kind of like resting on him. And I was just like, no, I'm out of here. And so I just threw the ball. Well, I didn't throw it. I bounced it like across the floor over them and uh, into the uh, into the other side of the room. basically. It was this gym that we would go to, a YMCA. And they weren't like laying on the floor. They were like sitting, leaning against the wall. And the Martha was like asking me like, what am I doing? Like, where am I going? And I didn't say. I just kept walking. Of course, if someone threw a ball at your direction, I'd be mad at them too. Um,
You just
I
threw
don't
it.
know. I was just angry at the. I was just, yeah. Well, I didn't. I guess I did mean to hit them, but I didn't.
You
I
were
don't
just
know. I
okay,
was
yeah,
just
you walked
mad.
off.
Yeah, I walked off. I went to my apartment, and I'm gonna tell you now. I sat down. And it was the first time I cried ever since the last time I remember crying was
You
12
have never cried
and
since
16.
then.
Yeah, I was 18. I was, a legally adult. I sat on my bed. I was looking at the floor, and the tears just started rolling down my face. And then, like, my nose got all stuffy, and I just cried. Like, it felt like since it was so long since I've cried, it felt strange to cry.
Oh my gosh, can
And
can can boys start like crying more? 'Cause that
I don't know. I mean, when I cried, I would try to stop it, but every time I tried to stop crying, I just cried even harder. I didn't know why.
so
Yeah. And it was kind of funny because my dad called me and I said, "Oh, he heard me the way I was talking." And I said, "Oh, I have allergies."
that's so sad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it was like
Oh,
multiple things and you were crying over multiple things at once and you didn't realize it.
I don't know, maybe sometime after that, me and my friend were playing in this league. Um, Dominic and I were playing this league,
National
a national league thing. I don't want to say what, not yet. But she came, she's cheering for him. You know, I like none of us, well, maybe Dominic invited her, but I didn't know she was coming. And I was like hanging out with the other team. And the I was, chatting up these girls. Um, and the I think two of them might have asked me like, "What's up with that chick? Is that his girlfriend?" And I looked over and it was Martha. And I was surprised to see her because I didn't know she was going to be there, right? So she was over there hanging out with Dominic. And I was like, oh no, she's our boss.
so
And I guess I could have lied. And then like the girls were like, oh, I thought they were boyfriend girlfriend. And they said, oh, that makes sense. She does look a lot older than you guys.
but so like
And I was
other
like,
people could
yeah.
see it too then.
Yes. And that was like a breaking point. Like that was like I could breathe because I thought I was just going crazy. I was just jealous. I was just paranoid. But other people saw it, complete strangers. And then that's when I got the courage to tell my fellow employees. And then they noticed it. And then like it was just this
This is so like
revelation in my head.
inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, it was just this revelation in my head that I'm not just the only one. Other people can see this too. And then that sank into me at that moment. So I kind of just threw myself at any other girls at the time. And that's how I got into some other relationships. I will talk about later. And one, maybe two of them I'm still talking to. Because there's like four, maybe five different girls
Boy,
at that place. And I felt like a pop star at the time because like some of them, like people were coming up. Okay, so first it was just two girls that asked me for their numbers. And then it became four, five, six, and then a couple of guys, not saying that they're gay, asked for my Facebook and this and that. And I was like, oh yeah. And there was like at the end of it, it's like 12 different people I got like DMs and this and that from
so this
friend
is what
requests.
the
And I
National
felt good.
League gives you.
Well, I guess that was like chatting up girls from the opposing team, and then it didn't affect me because they were playing the girls
Yeah.
division, not the men's. So, yeah. Well, that's Martha,
So you never
Martha
talked
Stewart.
to Dominic about this?
Oh yeah, I did. So we left on spring break, and I said, well, at this point I was over Martha. Like it was a whole year thing. The whole year I was up in Austin. It was it was a journey of its own, alongside of the other things I did, and I'll talk about on this podcast um in future episodes. So stay tuned. And um so I was jokingly saying, yo, so what do you think of Martha? She's pretty cute, huh? And he was like, what? No. And it's like, are you sure? I mean, she's okay. She's a redhead. She has fair skin. Well, not fair skin. It was kind of like sun-kissed, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Like tanned. She was short. She was a shorty. And she was real charismatic. Um, and that was the main drive, like, of her being attractive. It was her charismaticness, Um, I was told Dominic, she's real funny. She has a nice singing voice. And that was another thing. One time I came in with a guitar and started
What
singing to
is
him.
this?
Yeah, oh, it was strange. So after she sang to him at work, um, Alicia and Felicia were like off the rail, and we would just like talk about it nonstop. Like, oh my God, she's infatuated. She's in love. She wants the D man. She wants the Dominic, and oh my God, what I mean, we just couldn't believe it. That was like the icing on the cake.
Someone should have like reported her.
I thought about it, I really did, and I decided not to. And I hope nothing happens because I know Dominic is gonna go back to work as soon as um the what's it called quarantine's over. He's gonna go work
Oh boy.
with her again. I know. I mean, I'm gonna ask a few friends
So is he
to
like
watch over him
aware
and
of
what
what she's doing or
if he is, he's not telling me. But when I did try to bring it up to him, he he seemed unaware, and he actually had a crush on another person that was at our workplace named I'm gonna call her Poison.
oh
Even though she's a nice girl, it's a nickname we made up for her because we would talk about her like, oh, Poison, she was looking good in that
code
dress.
names?
Woo. Um, yeah, code name. It was a code name for her. And actually for Martha, we had a code name,
It
Coyote.
wasn't Cougar.
No, well, we could have called her that, huh?
Yeah.
But I think it would have been too obvious. But we called her Coyote. And if my friend Dominic ever finds this podcast, because I haven't shared it with him, he'll know who I'm talking about once he hears Coyote. Oh man,
It's
it's just a
just
crazy story.
really creepy to me. Because even though he's
Yeah,
technically
uh,
a legal adult, like, we're still, yeah, that's
he's an
still
employee.
weird.
Yeah.
Maybe he sees her like a mother figure.
Well,
Well,
I think she does want to
I'm
be
saying
his
if he can't
mommy.
pick up on like if strangers are seeing it and he can't pick up on it, like she's probably
In high school, there was
with a
another
teacher?
situation where that happened, or him. No, no, no.
Oh.
With a student, a fellow student that was so him and her were best friends way before I met Dominic. And all the years of high school, senior year finally came around. They went to prom together as friends, and she confessed to Dominic saying that she had a crush on him all those years and that she always saw him as more than a friend.
Oh.
And Dominic had no idea. And yeah, Dominic had no idea. And so he didn't see her that way. So well, that's what he told me that he
So
let her
this guy
down.
is just oblivious.
But yeah, and I told him that, hey, she has a thing for you. And our other friends would tell him that too. Like, hey, go for it, man. She likes you. And he was like, no, she doesn't. You guys just stop, Like he thought we were just joking. But when she told him, he was like hating himself for not realizing that she liked him.
All that
She
time.
liked him. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Well, once this
That's
whole
Dominic.
quarantine thing is over, I just gonna wish him the best.
Yeah. I'm gonna contact people that are going to be around them often.
I mean, who knows? Maybe that day when they were
And
taking
just
forever, something happened.
maybe something did happen. There was actually a work site injury that day, workplace injury. Um I'm not saying that it could have been prevented if she was there, but it was a lot of the heat went onto the
Ooh.
person she put in charge, and she did feel bad about it. Um so it was this guy who was mopping up some stuff and he slipped because he was mopping up a mess, like a already slippery mess, and he was mopping it up. And so it was just a lot of slipperiness everywhere. And he
Oh
slipped and hit
gosh.
his head on a shelf. And so I'm not saying like she could have she could have prevented that from being there, but the heat went onto the
Oh
person she
yeah.
put in charge for the meantime. And so that guy got in trouble, but she didn't because she wasn't there. I'm pretty sure she did get in trouble because she wasn't there, of course. She's taking forever. But I don't know. I don't know what came up with that. It was like above my pay grade. So yeah. Yeah. Martha.
So she broke your heart.
Yeah, actually, I think I felt more grief over Martha than I did with Ashley. Even though me and Ashley had an actual physical thing going on, and Martha and I never, ever, ever had one physical contact, like in a sexual
Yeah.
or like otherwise. I don't know why. I guess I just built it up in my head that she was this perfect person that I was just so in love with for no reason.
Yeah. I think that can definitely happen.
And I hate myself to this day. And I don't know. You said you had an experience
Yeah.
like that.
It was really weird. Uh,
Is that like a
It could
whole
be, but to
episode
like
idea or
sum it up, like we met beginning of sophomore year, and the way this person acted with me made it seem like they liked me more than a friend. And this went on for 2 years straight. And I like had to go around asking my friends like, "Hey, what's the difference between being flirty with someone and being friendly with them?" And they would like make fun of me. But it was because this person confused me that much, like I didn't know what was happening. Um and it was just like little subtle things. It's like you and Martha and Dominic, like you feel like you're crazy because you're seeing things, but like you can like pick up little hints though, right? Like you know what I'm talking about. Like this person would
absolutely,
like touch my
absolutely.
thigh and like say like compliments like oh, your laugh is like the best laugh in the world, and like anyone would be lucky to hear you talk. And turns out that
It
this
turns out he
person
was
was a
gay.
girl. Exactly.
Wait, what?
What do you mean I didn't know?
Wait, you didn't know?
Yeah, no, it's because
Oh
you're
wait,
assuming
no,
it
it
was
was
a
a girl?
guy. That's why it
Yeah,
made
I
it
was
even
assuming it was a
weirder
guy.
because, like, I think girls with each other are just like naturally super friendly. And, do you know what I'm talking about? I mean, I guess because you're
No.
not a girl. I mean, girls, yeah, I mean, girls being friends with other girls,
Sister.
like, we're typically very, like, friendly with each other. And if, like, a guy was telling me those things, I would have thought, like, oh, he likes me. But because it was a girl, I was confused. I was like, is she just being nice or is she like, does she have a crush on me? Like, what is this? Um, and that went on for like 2 years straight, like basically saying like super flirty things. Um, and I finally confronted her about it. But the thing is, like, our friendship was really weird because she would go like weeks without talking to me at all. Like I would text her and she would just ignore me. So basically like you too. And then she would like pop
Hmm.
up again and then she would reply to my text like every 5 minutes, like super fast. So it was like this constant back and forth thing for like 2 years. So like our entire friendship. So that made things more confusing because I was like, do you even want to be my friend? Um, and on my birthday, it was my 17th birthday. She didn't even say happy birthday to me. So I was like, okay, I guess we're not friends anymore. And then it was still technically my birthday. She like sent me a whole long letter. It was like almost midnight or something. Um, I know.
What the fuck?
And in
I
the
mean, that's
very beginning
nice
of
and
the
all.
letter, she was like, "Hey, don't tell anyone that I wrote you this." And then she like goes into this whole long paragraph of like it was like a poem basically. Like it literally sounded like a love poem. And if I look through my like old pictures, I'm sure I still have the screenshot of it and you're probably gonna have to cut this because I'm gonna go look for it. I can read it to you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. What,
Um,
to us or to me?
I'll see because I don't remember what exactly she said. I want to see if it's like super personal or not.
Okay. What can I say? Martha, 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 Martha. Isn't that a thing? It's Marsha, Marsha, Marsha though. Uh, I'm gonna have to call her Marsha, so I could put that as a title. Marsha, Marsha, Marsha. But anyways, Martha is I think she would always be with me, as in like I think to look back on and know that it's unhealthy to depend on someone even though they have no connection to you emotionally, physically, or anything like that. I like I built up
Yeah,
a
it
facade
was just like a fantasy.
of my own.
That happened to
Yeah.
me once with a crush. Like in my
Um,
head, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's so perfect." And then I started talking to him and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's so boring."
oh yeah, and about this the one that
Speaking
sent you
of the
that
poem, I found
poem.
it. Okay, so this is
Oh yeah.
the poem. Don't tell anyone about this because it's personal, but today's your birthday. When I first went out and bought my new 2018 edition calendar, I marked the date of your birthday for safekeeping. I didn't know whether or not we'd talk again, but that's okay. A day like this should be celebrated nonetheless. To start off, you girl, you're just so gorgeous. The loyalty you carry through your heart and the kindness that flows through your veins make you all the more beautiful. Perhaps you're like the sun that rises up in the dark night. You make the mornings shine bright. The times I would have loved to spend with you. The laughs, feeling of comfort, It may not be believable, but I truly hold strongly onto our old times for which I love so, so much. They're fresh in my memory and have been imprinted into my heart for life. And how could I forget about the times we've spent together when I have so many wrinkles on my face from all of the laughing we've shared? So happy birthday, you girl. Hopefully your 17th birthday went the way you wished it had and that you feel content. The end.
That part about the wrinkles made me think of like a
That's all
pug.
you have to say.
But besides that, what's her name? I'm gonna propose right now. No, but
But
that was a
would
nice
you
poem.
write something like
Besides,
that
it
about
was
someone who you saw as
it
just a
seemed
friend?
I did the same
Right, it
thing
sounds like a love note.
for Martha. Yeah, I wrote her something for her birthday.
That's
I
love,
wrote her a
bro. That is
poem,
love.
and I know. I think I might have deleted it. I kept on to it for a while after her birthday.
Oh,
And I just deleted it because it just hurt too much to look at it, like
man,
to
Martha
even see
really
it in my
hurt
documents,
you.
because that's where I kept it in my Google Doc. No,
That
she
is
didn't, because
true.
what doesn't kill you make you
Okay,
stronger, my dude.
we
But
can call her
what's this girl's fictional name?
Kathleen.
What's
So, like I said, Kathleen and our
Kathleen?
friendship was weird. We would talk, we would we would act like best friends, and then like 2 months would go by and we wouldn't speak at all. And our friendship was basically like on her terms. So like whenever she felt like talking to me, that's when we would talk. Um, and we didn't have any classes together, so it was like easy for her to avoid me. Um, and since she said like this poem, she didn't call it a poem, but this letter is personal. I went to go talk to this guy. We'll call him Zeke. Oh, Zeke. Zeke was our.
Okay.
He was at this point in our friendship. He was closer to her than I was. I was to her. So I asked him. I was like, "Can you ask Kathleen if she like sees me in more than a friend way because she wrote me this letter for my birthday and I'm just really confused." And he's like, "Okay, I'll talk to her." And then the next day she DMs me saying like, um, "Why did you like tell Zeke about this? Like you complain that I never open up to you and then you go ahead and do this." And I was like, "Well, I'm sorry. I'm just confused because one minute we're like really close and then the next you push me away." And then she says, "Well, I guess that settles it." And then she blocks me. So I'm like,
Oh
okay. And
man.
a week goes by and I see her in the hallway and I look immediately down and I try to avoid her gaze. Like I just did not want to do anything with this anymore. So she unblocks me and messages me right after our
Hmm.
little hallway. I
Oh.
just walked past her and she had like she wanted to unblock me because of that. And she was like, "I thought that our friendship was over, but you're still trying to
Hmm.
be mean and stuff." I'm like, "All I did was look at you." um, and then she sent this meme of this little boy crying, saying, "Are you mad at me? Because if you are, I'm sorry." Um, so if that was her way of apologizing, it didn't work because like I got so mad and just blocked her after that, and that was our friendship.
It was like an eagle
Yeah, I
soaring
don't.
through the
It
air,
just like that's what
and it
I
got shot
I
down.
kind of understand you like nothing happened between us, but like in my head it was like this person really likes me. Like y- yeah, like
Like it seemed that
cuz
way,
she
but it
claimed like,
wasn't.
"Oh, I didn't see you in that way," but like I don't know, I would just never act that way towards a friend. Like I can only see myself acting that way towards a guy I like.
Hmm. You sexist. No,
It's
I'm
just
joking. You homophobe. No,
like would you touch your friend's
joking,
thigh?
joking.
Like is that a friend if that would you touch
I
your
mean, if
guy
she was good
friend's
looking.
thigh if like
not not if they felt comfortable in that way. With every relationship I had, I always ask, like, is this okay? Like, I put my arm around them. I
Respectable.
say, are you okay? Are you comfortable with this? Or like, variation of that. Yeah, yeah. Or like, I'll
Oh.
lean in and I'll look into their eyes and I'll say, I'll say something like, are you and me more than just friends? Or like, before I even like do anything, I won't go in for it. I am kind of a chicken in that way, but I usually like really lean in on the flirtation. Like if they reciprocate, then I know. Or if they just say yes, no, maybe so. I'll go in for it depending on what they're, because it's like romance is
Yeah.
like a reaction to a reaction, you know? Uh, so like if I reach over, like like say this chick, like we're sitting next to each other in the movie theater and her hand's like on the armrest. And I put my hand next to hers and I kind of like have it like touching, but like not holding or on her hand, just touching like next to each other. And if she, depending on what she does, I react. You know, if she like moves her hand or like she like shifts in a way, then I pull back, give her space. But if she like looks over to me or she puts her hand on
So,
mine, then
yeah,
I
like you
go and hold her
see
hand.
physical
Simple as that.
affection as like a romance thing.
Well, for me, especially no, because in my situation, certain
Right.
cues I can't pick up because it's a thing, yeah. But definitely a physical touch, kiss,
Because
I
for
definitely
me,
know
like
what that
I'm not
means.
a really affectionate person with my
Um,
friends, and they're not like really affectionate with me because they know I'm not comfortable with that. So when someone is like touching me, it feels like, oh, this is like, yeah, it's like a whole new level. So it felt like
Strange.
I just wasn't used to that. And then, yeah, like it was just like, oh, this isn't what
She would
friends should
touch
be
my
doing
thigh.
in my head. And friends shouldn't be saying these things to me because I wasn't used
Mm-hmm.
to that kind of affection, especially because of my past toxic friendship. Like, she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
ever nice to me in that way. So it was just all really foreign to me. And then in the letter, when she said, don't
Mm-hmm.
tell anyone about this, like, if it wasn't a thing for you, like, why would you have to say, don't tell anyone about this?
Maybe she was just hiding in the closet, or that's actually what that's the only thing I could think of is that she
Yeah,
didn't
so
want it to be public. Um, I don't know. Maybe she just went at it the wrong way. Because I wouldn't, if I was to tell someone like try to be intimate with them, not in like in a
uh-huh.
sexual way, but like as in a friend, like, hey, I'm here for you way. I wouldn't like touch their
Ooh.
thigh. And of course I'm a guy, but like, and that rhymes. Spit in the bars. But I would like, if anything, I would like nudge him like on his shoulder
Yeah.
or his back or chest, whatever. I would nudge him like, hey, I'm here for you, man. Like, hey, you can talk, you can trust me, you can talk to me, if anything. But usually a guy, all you have to do is say like, come on, bro, just tell me what's up, you know? To connect with another guy. You don't have to like touch their thigh. I'm here for you. You can trust me. So that definitely says to me, although I'm not a girl. Like, has any of your other friends told you like
They like
what that
actually
meant
believe that
in that
to her,
situation?
like she felt something more. Um, and then I
Mm,
understand that like
mm,
I went about it the wrong way by like asking through our mutual friend instead of just like having that conversation with her like one on one. So I think that's what upset her, but like did it have to go so far for us to like not be friends anymore and just like her
yeah.
blocking me? Like, yeah.
I think she felt hurt or betrayed because she asked you not to. But you it's not your
Yeah, like
fault
before
because
she sent that
you
letter,
had
like she didn't even
she was
talk to
sending
me for
mixed
weeks.
messages.
So I at that point I didn't really even feel comfortable just like talking to her at all.
Hmm. Hmm. And of course, there's always two sides to every
I
story, but
mean, like I said,
since
this
she's
was
not
like
here, I'm
two
on your
years
side.
of like just
Uh,
little stuff
um,
happening, and I guess you just do build up stuff in your head. So like once we stopped being friends, I was just like really hurt because I felt like all of this could have been prevented if we just like talked to each other. And it's the same like with the ghosting thing. Like why can't people just talk to each other? Why can't we talk to each other?
yeah, people just, I don't know if it's a maturity thing or if it's just like a fear thing. Because like no one wants to break up. No one wants to hurt each other's feelings unless you're a douche or a dick or an asshole. But usually people are like afraid or either just feel bad for breaking someone else's heart, right? That's like a normal human reaction. Um, so I think that's why some people feel like ghosting them is the only way to let them know that they're not interested or that they're no longer interested into that person. But that's not the right way to go at it. I've broken up with some girls and I never ghosted anyone. Um, and it always worked out for the best. Although I'm not friends with any of my exes. Uh, but I'm pretty sure if I ghosted them, it wouldn't be a better situation because we all left on good terms. Like,
Tell Laura I
I'm gonna
love
say
her.
Laura, my first girlfriend. Uh, I love her. Yes, tell Laura I love her. Laura, my first girlfriend. Um, we we it was like a long distance thing. At first, it was like we went to the same school and everything, but she moved and we tried to keep in contact like over long distance, and it just didn't really work because we kept like calling each other less and less, and we even started
Yeah.
stopped texting. Does that make sense? Stopped. Um, started to text less, and eventually it just went from like weeks and weeks before we would even call or text anyone. And so I decided to, I guess we both just fizzled out and we talked about it one time, like one last time, over the phone. And it was like this odd feeling, like in your gut, like when you're talking to someone and like saying like,
Oh,
"Hey, I care for you, but I don't think this will work out." And of course, she felt the same way, but she definitely was sad about
she
it
wasn't
because I
your
was
first?
her first boyfriend. Um, a player like me, no way. But of course, we had a actually that call was the longest call we had with each other. It was like a 3 hour call, 3 hour 47 minutes. Usually we would only be on the phone for 2 hours, 1 hour. Usually we text, that's our main way with communication. But anyways, that last call was the 3 hour one, and it was like impactful of like how like I really learned from Laura how someone could really mean something to you, you know? That's
Why is
not
this
family
making me
or a
want to
friend,
cry?
but something more intimate.
I am like such a hopeless romantic. Like everything about romance just makes me want to cry. And I think it's because like I've never experienced it,
Big
so it's
loser.
like
Nah.
I'm just building it up in my head again, I guess.
What about you? Like, so
A weird
you've only had girls hit on you?
this
Any
is like
guys?
I think I'm cursed because only weird guys have ever let me know that they were interested in me. So it was once in seventh grade, this guy, he would like take his hamburgers from lunch and then smash them down onto the cafeteria table and eat them smushed like that. But why is that necessary?
What? That's why I did. What's so wrong about that?
Well, he. No, I've never done that.
It makes it way better, man. You never tried it? let's try it. You know what I mean? Just go to a cafeteria, get the burgers and smash it down on a table, like with no tray, no nothing. Just a plain table that people eat on. It's
So
all
he
dirty.
told me that he
And
liked
smash
me,
it down and,
and then
go
he
to
like
town.
somehow convinced himself that we were dating for like a week, and he was like, "I love you, babe." But that, like I said, it lasted for like a week, so that was over with. And then I told this is so mean.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so
Oh my
and then
God.
it happened again sophomore year. This weird senior guy
Oh.
started talking to me. I don't even know how we even started talking. Um, I think it was at lunch or something, and he just started talking. Oh my god! These all
And
happened
he was
during
smushed on
lunch.
his
Oh my
burgers, right?
gosh. Um,
He was
no,
smushed on
and
his
I
burgers.
don't. I guess he somehow convinced me because he ended up getting my Snapchat, so we started talking through Snapchat. And that also lasted 1 week because a week later I found out he asked this other girl to prom, and then I found out he was talking to like three other girls, so I was like, okay, well,
Not
I'm
you.
stupid. Um, and then like after that I kept running into him in the halls, and it was
Mm.
really weird. Um, Also weird that like a 18, 19-year-old wanted to talk to like a 15-year-old, but that whatever.
Yeah.
Completely.
So
Well,
that's your luck of men, huh?
I had my suspicions about
Any
this other guy. And this happened my senior year, which makes me really sad. Um,
Well.
because he was a junior. So now yeah, I told you about him. Um,
Oh. Oh
and
yeah, 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 I
it
remember.
was like over this past summer, like right after I
Uh-huh.
graduated, when I felt like really guilty and like regretted that I never told him anything because I was so confident that like he liked me back, but we were both really too scared to even say anything about it. Like even when like we would talk as a group, and as a group we would actually like talk to each other, but whenever it was like us two alone, like we never knew what to say to each other. Um, so it was just like really awkward and weird, and there was just like these instances that made me think that he like felt something, but nothing came out of it, and now I can't even like find him on Instagram or anything, so or maybe he just like
Oh.
blocked me.
It's probably Amish. Oh, no. Uh, I mean, I never had well, no, I never had a situation like that where we both didn't say anything because eventually one of
Oh
us
my
did.
god, don't say
I
that
guess I'm
again.
just lucky, or
Do
I got
not.
balls of steel, or something like that. Uh, I'll probably cut that out. Um, but anyways, um, I don't know. I guess I've just been lucky. Although, albeit I've only had like four girlfriends in my life, my entire life, but I've had many crushes that just nothing came out of it, you know. And I don't know. That's a
Talk
good
about your
tip.
feelings.
If anyone pulls anything out of this podcast, go, well, that it's good to talk about your feelings, but also if you have a crush on someone, ask them if they're interested in being in a relationship. And if they're not, that's cool. Leave them. Don't pursue anything else because that's just not right. Because if someone doesn't want to be in a relationship with you, don't. And if they do, great.
Upside inside out, living la vida loca. She'll push and pull you out. Her skin's the color of mocha. Living la vida loca. Feeling better, buddy?